He's a 33-year-old naval officer. His victory this past weekend at Congressional Country Club just outside of Washington, D.C. is being called maybe the story of the PGA Tour season. Billy Hurley joins me now from Akron. It's Tuesday, Billy. Has the reality of what you've done begun to take root, that you did what you did?
Yeah, it has started to take root, Scott. It's obviously just been a whirlwind of about 48 hours here, but slowly starting to sink in, and having more and more people do interviews and call me a PGA Tour winner and those types of things. So I guess whether or not I believe it, it's true, which is a good thing.
Speaking of realities, how long does it take after the putt drops on 18 that you start thinking about Augusta National and the fact that you get to play there because you won a tour event?
Oh, that was probably in the 20-minute range, I would say. It all happens so fast when you win, and my family runs on to 18 green, and we do the interview there with Peter Costas, and then you kind of sink back in and you go, wow, I get to play a lot of golf tournaments that I didn't have on the schedule.
Yeah, man. And this week's another great example of that. I mean, this is a who's who, the best in the world. And it's interesting, you will not play the Open Championship, but you've got a great reason. And for those that don't know, the reason you will not be heading across to play at Troon is why?
My sister gets married that Saturday of the Open Championship, and at this point in my family's history, it's very important for me to be there to support her and her new husband, and I wouldn't miss her wedding for the world.
Hey, it's fun when you get to plan your summer out based on the major championship calendar. These are I think they call them first world problems. You went to the Naval Academy, and obviously that's Congressional's as close to Annapolis as any tour event could possibly be. What was it like to have the support of the Naval Academy and the area behind you as you were walking around the grounds there at Congressional?
Every week I get a Go Navy or Beat Army or something like that from the crowd, but they're, close to D.C., close to my hometown where I grew up in Leesburg, close to Annapolis where I live now, and the Naval Academy's there. I mean, it was just even magnified that much more, something I'd never heard before, but people were yelling out 21412, which is the zip code of the post office on the Naval Academy. I'd never heard that one before, but it was pretty cool.
I think it might have coincided with a number of cocktails the people at Congressional had. They were following you around. They enjoy themselves there. You're walking around on Sunday with a Hall of Famer and a guy that won the U.S. Open there, and Ernie Els. I'm just curious, as you're trying to win for the first time, what that's like as you realize the company you're with and the company you're trying to join, trying to become yourself a tour winner.
He was super nice to me, even amongst the time when we were battling pretty hard there. When the chip went in on 15, he had to kind of yell at me twice, Billy, to give me a high five, because he was pretty excited for me there too.
He knows the way your life has changed because of what you've done, and Billy, the manner you did it, the fact that you grabbed it, you played great when you had to. Did that answer any questions that you had in your head, or did you not have questions?
It validates who I am as a player, and I always wanted my story coming out of the Naval Academy to be eventually more about golf than about the Navy, and now I think it is.
Well, I mean, you couldn't have done it at I think a more appropriate place than Congressional, and there are different members of the armed services that are out there throughout the week that you get to acknowledge throughout. And it was so appropriate. And I want to close with this, and obviously it's the hardest one to even figure out how to ask, and it's about your dad, and you speak about your family and about your sister, and given the very public way that you lost your dad, how do you reconcile just whatever thoughts you might have had about him as you finally break through and win?
Scott, I certainly wish he were there to celebrate with us. I think that, you mentioned the Masters earlier, and I think that would have been like the pinnacle for him in watching me play, would be able to watch me play the Masters. And obviously he won't be able to be there with us come April next year, but he taught me the game, and I learned a lot from him, and he made me the man I am today, and I couldn't be more thankful to have the dad that I had.
This is going to sound really corny, and I don't care. As a guy who lost his dad, I'll promise you one thing. There are places around Augusta National where you can take a walk by yourself and your thoughts and He'll be right there with you. I will promise you that. Congratulations on your victory. Well earned, and continued success out there.
All right. Thanks a lot, Scott. Beat Army.